between my ears, that is a bad neighborhood, and I should not be in there alone. I can't be in there by myself.
What are you talking about? It's
insane.
Crazy,
it's crazy in here. This is a bad place for me to be by myself. And so when I'm in that, like, my whole life gets thrown off. Like, if I'm in there, like, I don't say nice things to myself. Like, there's another Chester in there that's like wants to take me down.
On July 20th of 2017, Chester died by suicide. Like he said in his interview, there's another Chester trying to take me down, and sure enough, that other Chester did take him down. It's very disturbing how self-aware he was of his suicidal thoughts and the threat they posed, and yet still, with all the resources he had available, he wasn't able to get help. There's this YouTube channel I watch called Special Books for Special Kids, and it's really a great channel. The guy spreads a lot of positivity and awareness, and he gives people who otherwise wouldn't have a voice and a platform to communicate with a bunch of supportive people. And his channel, one of the reasons I like his channel is because the comment section is very positive. People are you see a lot of people who say, I'm never going to complain about anything again. I'm so grateful. Because when you see someone who, like this person, is deaf and blind and they're still able to find happiness, it makes you look at your own life and reevaluate your priorities and make you think, what am I doing wrong to be so depressed? What am I doing wrong to want to kill myself? What am I doing wrong? What am I doing that's so wrong? How there's people who have real problems, and somehow I find problems to ruminate on. And it's all about perspective, really. When you look at duality, it's a spectrum. You know, you can't have happiness without sadness. You can't experience pleasure without also having to experience pain. There's going to be good and bad times. You just got to accept what life throws at you. And so with the topic I want to talk about, suicide, I'm gonna title this video, Is Suicide Selfish? If someone like this, there are people with real problems, so when someone kills themselves, are they cowardly? Is it a cowardly decision they make? Is it because they're ungrateful? I've been told that a lot when I opened up about my depression. I was told, you're not depressed. You don't know what depression is. You have no reason to be depressed. You're just not grateful enough. You're lazy. And it can be frustrating because when it comes to mental illness, you can't really see what the problem is, and the problem isn't always easily identified. So it can wreak havoc on a person's life. It can cause them to die by suicide. It can cause them to die by reckless behavior. So when someone like Chester Bennington dies, I'm going to use him as an example in this video. With Chester and with anyone that dies by suicide, they're being influenced by mental illness, trauma, something within the mind. The same way that somebody who is drunk or on any other drug is influenced by that drug. And I'm not going to compare dying by suicide to dying by cancer or anything like that. What I do want to compare it to is being drunk. Because when you're drunk, yeah, you make the decision to get drunk, but it's the alcohol that impairs you. And when someone dies by suicide, yeah, they make the decision to end their lives, but it's the mental illness that impairs their judgment. So the blame is on the mental illness. It's not on the person. In the same way that when someone's drunk, the blame is on the alcohol. Yeah, well, with being drunk, the blame could be put more on the person because there's really no good reason to get drunk unless you're just about that lifestyle and you're able to safely and responsibly drink. But if alcohol is causing problems in your life and it's impairing your judgment to the point where you're making bad decisions, you should get help. Just like if you're suicidal and you make the decision to kill yourself, you should get help. And a lot of people who make the decision to end their life, most people who make that decision survive their first attempt and they end up in the hospital. I've been in the hospital on 4 separate occasions for depression. They got me on various medications. I haven't been on any medication for months now, but And I can make a whole video on psychiatric medications and the pros and cons. There are plenty of cons, but it helps a lot of people. I'm not anti-medication or anything, but for me, I'm doing the deprivation motivation experiment. I gotta get into that. We're gonna see what goes on with my depression in the future. We'll see how that works out. But yeah, so is suicide selfish? No. Is suicide cowardly? No. What is suicide? Suicide is disturbing. It's a shame, but there's no shame on the person who kills themselves. The shame is on not recognizing the signs sooner. The shame is on... It's a shame. It's a shame when it happens, but it's a shame when people die driving drunk, but it happens. Thousands of people die by it every year. The end of the world has arrived, and it's just around the corner, and society is just getting more depressed and anxious. Everything that's going on is just falling apart, and it's all just it's gonna be a slow process, but it's also gonna be fast because we are only a moment in time. Time goes on infinitely, and none of this really matters anyway. But, you know, I think this is all just a simulation. We're just in a computer that's been designed by a higher power, and we're all just programmed in, and the universe is just, and it's infinitely just a Russian doll kind of thing where it just keeps going on and on and on.